Hi, I'm Suzi Quatro, and you are listening to United Rock Nations.
Hello, guys of United Rock Nations. We are an amazing company with Suzi Quatro. How are you?
How are you? I'm fine. I'm doing well. That's the question everybody asks now. How are you? Is anybody? Nobody's great anymore. Everybody's fine.
Absolutely,
That is
absolutely.
the new normal. From great, it's now fine.
Exactly. So, in a few weeks, your new album, The Devil in Me, will be released. How is your feeling about this new album?
It's been amazing, the reaction. Um, I've said it's my best work, but I don't have to say it because everybody is saying it to me, which
Absolutely.
which is a nice position to be in. We've really created something. We have relit the fire somehow. I'm firing on all four cylinders. I'm going.
Our feeling is that Devil in Me is probably, as you said, one of your best album, of course. Uh, the perfect the perfect music between older glam and modern rock. How do you manage to always have so much inspiration to write songs again and again?
I'm never short of inspiration. I've always been a prolific writer. I'm a poet. Uh, just how I am. I see lyrics everywhere. I hear melodies everywhere. But this last two albums have been, boosted in my creativity, even more so than normal, because working with my son now, who's
Exactly.
36 years old, and he's brought his young energy to the table in the next generation of music. Plus, in his DNA is watching his mother as Suzi Quatro his entire life. So he really soaked it all up. See, he understands me as an artist very, very well. And I brought to the table my 57 years in the business and my life of age 70. And Richard has enabled me to see myself through his eyes, which is really lighting it all up again. I feel on fire again. It's quite exciting, you know?
Exactly, absolutely.
Quite exciting. And if he just goes too far, I just send him to his room. Actually, you can't do that at 36 anymore. Too old. Plus, that he's 6'2", so
So tell us, you say that you work with your son Richard. So tell us more about the writing process of the album. Who bring the main ideas on the new songs?
well, any writer will tell you nothing is ever regimented because creation isn't like that. But Richard, very much a riff guy, but then again, so am I. You know, but I will write on piano
Great.
because I've played piano for a long time, so it's my orchestra. Um, he tends to do the riffs. Sometimes he comes to me with a title. Sometimes he comes with a crazy idea, off the wall idea of a lyric, and then I take it in and put it in me and see where it comes out. We do go back and forth, back and forth. I'm very much a lyric person, though. I mean, he always says he doesn't write lyrics. He's always said that. But every now and again, a title or a line comes out. He'll say, "What about the?" And so it's important. You're still adding something, even though you're not actually physically writing the lyrics. You're adding something that way. Just like he's putting a guitar down on to say, "What about this?" Same kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
But we trade off very well together. We do. Um, he challenges me a lot with his riffs. Just things I wouldn't write, and I challenge him with stuff I'm doing, and we go back and forth. But it's been a extremely successful partnership so far, and very, very creative and very satisfying. More important.
And do you rehearsal together? Do you play together on the same room?
When we're putting down our demos, we're there together. Yes, sure. We have somebody come in to engineer because neither one of us likes to do that. I can't stand it. I'm not a machine person at all. And we make our demos here in the studio at the house,
Okay.
and then we find a good place to record it. So yeah, we do work together. We're in the studio a lot, but a lot of times he's out there with the machines, working on riffs and tracks, and I'm on the patio, old school, with my acoustic bass and my acoustic guitar, my songbook, and my iPad. And that's
Oh,
how I like to work.
okay.
Yeah, I don't like to do machines. I'm the kind that if I have to worry about pushing a button, I've lost the song. So this way, you just play. Boom. You don't set things up. I can't set things up. I haven't got the patience.
So just before you talk about the lyrics, so I understand that some lyrics were written by him and some lyrics by you. Um, tell us more about the lyrics of the album. Usually, you wrote the lyrics before the music, or it's the music
Um,
before the lyrics.
well, I do all the lyrics, like I said, except for the odd line and odd idea. I am the lyricist. It comes sometimes it comes from a title.
Yes.
I am very poetic when I speak. I've been told this my whole life. I will say something, and you have to write it down. So I think that way. I think I'm a Gemini, so Gemini's love words.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I have a book full of titles. You know, I have a book full of one-liners, and many times if something sad happens or tragic happens, I will sit down and write an entire thing, like
Yes.
usually like a poem.
Absolutely.
And often the poem, if you like it and you look at it, you think, and then obviously the rhythm will change, but you can turn that into a song, and
Awesome.
vice versa. Some songs I've worked on have not, they're in my poetry book. They didn't work as songs, and they ended up just a poem, but things like the Devil in Me, the title track, I had said that to my son months ago, that line. And he said, what a great title for the album. I said, the next album, I said, that is. And it immediately started me thinking about my mom and the stuff she used to say to me. She used to call me, she used to say, you're an angel until your halo slips and it becomes a noose. And she say, you were the shyest of my kids, but of the 5 kids, but also the one with the mischief in your eyes. So that kind of was all born from that, and it sat around for a long time, those lyrics. I couldn't find a way into the music for those. And I thought it was going to end up just as a poem. But then the last track is an example of how we worked together. The last track, which I was working on in there, and he said, we need 12 for the album. What do you think? And I said, I like that a lot. So then he sends it to my computer. I get my bass, get my songbook with all the bits of scraps of paper, and I start to play, and I start to try to figure out what's jumping out at me for this. And those lyrics that I had written for The Devil in Me somehow fell out of the book and landed in front of me. I just,
Oh.
okay. Okay. One of those strange things that you can't explain,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
to be quite honest. And it is about my mom. She's got a long time. I'm sure she thought I'm going to be on this album. And I didn't question. I just went, okay, well, that happened for a reason. And then I started to look at that lyric and sing it along, and it was perfect.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely perfect. So there you go. So that's how that song was born. It has a history.
Just before you told me that you wrote a lot of things, poems that you didn't use on songs. Do you plan to publish a book one day with all those
God, yes.
poems?
Oh, you haven't watched Suzi Q? You must watch the documentary Suzi Q. All this is in there. I have 4 books published. My autobiography Unzipped. My illustrated coffee table book called Through My Eyes, which is my poetry book, and I'm very proud of that. My novel, which is The Hurricane,
Okay.
and my second illustrated book that I did during lockdown called Through My Words, which is my lyric book. And I'm now working on my 5th one of that series of the coffee table, Through My Thoughts, and I'm working on my second novel too. So I'm working on book 5 and 6 as we speak, and we're writing for the next album.
Yes, I know you just for the music, but not for the book. So that's the reason why I didn't check about it. So tell us more about what motivates you, the devil in me, because okay, it's the lyrics you wrote, but why the devil in me?
Because that's what my mom always said. She always said, you have the devil in you. And I do. And I'm quite proud of it. If I can bother somebody, I will.
So I selected the 3 songs that I want to talk about.
Okay.
The first one is Betty Who. Has a funky groove vibe on that song that I love so much. I don't know if you know the band Mother's Finest. It reminds me a little bit that kind of music. Tell us more about that song, Betty Who.
My my son works with an artist, and they have a tour bus called Betty Who.
Ah, okay.
And he had this riff, and he told me, when we tour, that bus is called Betty Who. And he gave me the riff and the title, and I went, I like the title, but I'm going to make it about a groupie.
Ah.
And then it all made sense to me, Betty Who, It's very tongue in cheek, very tongue in cheek. And she's, everybody's seen girls like that around, hanging around. So it's Betty Who.
And about and about the music, about this funky groove of this song.
Yeah, Richard had that groove. It's a good riff.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just really nice, and it's nice and grungy sounding, isn't it? It's
exactly.
It's a real edgy guitar sound. Yeah, it suited perfectly. I got the lyrics and the bass line and the vocal pretty easily on that. It just all clocked in.
Absolutely. The second song I want to talk about is one of my favorites of the album. Is My Heart and Soul. So it's a touching ballad, and the way you sing on this song is incredible. Just because it's just your voice without any guitars, and the way you sing is really incredible. Tell us more about that song. You say just before that you play the piano, so you play on this song.
Well, I did on the video. I can play it, but my keyboard player played it on the album. He's wonderful. That was a stranger. It is one of my favorites on the album too. Very unusual. I was sitting on the patio. I was about 2 months into not seeing my husband, so missing him pretty bad. I'm setting the scene for you. So I'm out on the patio working. We're working on the album. My son's in the studio working on tracks. And he left the door open on this particular day so I could hear what he was doing. And out came this track. He had put down drums, a bass line, and guitar. And this track came out. And I just really went like that. And it was in my heart. It went into my heart. And as a writer for a long time now, I knew that I mustn't think at all. Don't think. So I left it right where it was, right here. And I just walked out to the studio. And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Just something I'm working." I said, "Put the mic on, give me the headphones, and play the track." So with no thought process, just what I was feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Those first 4 lines came out in a voice I've never used before. And we both just went. And there was the song. There was the song. So much so that when I went to record it, this is a funny story about this song. Once we had actually recorded it properly, and everything was on, the strings, the backing vocals, the horns, the guitar, everything was ready, and I was ready to put my vocal on the finished thing. So it's a big moment. You're in the studio, and you're actually very vulnerable when you're putting down a vocal because you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, all your emotions, you're naked. So I'm singing away, and my son stopped the song. I "What? You're not doing it." I said, "What do you mean I'm not doing what?" I'm annoyed, Then I became mother. And he said, "No, you're just not, it's not giving me goosebumps." I said, "Pardon?" And I got a little bit annoyed because you're vulnerable when you're doing this.
Exactly.
So he smartly said, "Let me play you something." And he put on the demo. It was a real moment for me. I went, "Whoa. Wow." So instead of being Suzi Quatro putting down the vocal on her new album, I was not doing that there. I was just, so I went right, got it, went out, stripped it all away, came back, and went back into that place. But that was clever to hear that. Really clever to hear that, yeah. But I heard it right away. As soon as he played that, I went, "Oh my God, geez, I'm not doing that at all." I was being too professional, putting down my vocal. So I found that voice again, and I used it again on "Love's Gone Bad." Actually, that's a little bit of Billie Holiday thrown in there. But I do actually have a very good ballad voice, and I'm glad I can show it now.
Yes, and it's a great song.
Thank you.
Great song.
Thank you.
The last song I want to talk about is Mother City Riders. It's absolutely more catchy. It's a rock as we like. Tell us more about that song also.
I love that one. That's one of my favorites too. I had the idea for the first few lines on this one, singing the words and playing. I remember, and I really liked it. It really was going. And I took it out and showed the beginning of it to Richard, and then he started playing, because I'm not a good guitar player. He started playing it a certain way on guitar, and it clicked. I went, well, that's how that song should be played. And he said, what about Motor City Riders? I said, yes, good. Came back in and worked very hard on the lyrics because it's about Detroit.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to represent, with not one word incorrect, what it was like growing up in Detroit. And I think I did the city very proud. I've told the story of Detroit and me growing up in it. So I hope it's going to be an anthem. I mean, Unshakable Survivors. It says it all.
Do you know that? Do you know that Alice Cooper just released an album called Detroit Stories?
Sure, I was supposed to be in it. He's doing. He's supposed to be. He must be getting so sick of hearing about me because he's doing all the same interviews and everything is. Everybody's always saying, "Oh, he said to say hi." So we're doing it. We must have the same schedule. Sometimes I'm before, and sometimes he's before me. I was supposed to be on that album. On Your Mama Won't Like Me.
Oh.
But the producer honestly told me that he wasn't sure it was going to be an equal duet. So I said, no, I didn't want to be on one of my songs with him just to do a few lines. If you want to do a duet, more than happy to do it. So I said no to that. But we're all good friends. We talk.
So next year, 2022, you will celebrate the release of your first single 50 years ago, Rolling Stone.
Huh.
50 years ago, next year, you will celebrate the 50 years of Rolling Stone. At that time, do you think that you will be still here talking about music, playing music, recording albums?
Of course.
50 years ago?
I've now been doing this 57 years. And I knew from the day I did my first gig at the Hideout Club with 3 songs in the same 3 chords, I knew that I had come home, and I knew I would be in it for a lifetime.
Oh,
no doubt. No doubt. I never did any other job in my life but this. This is what I was born to do. Sure, I've expanded. I've done musicals and acted and written and all, but it's all, and DJ for 15 years on Radio 2, BBC Radio 2. No, I always knew this was the place for me.
Any celebration next year about the first single for the anniversary, for the anniversary of this release?
What, Rolling Stone? That's so funny. Number 1 in Portugal and nothing,
yes, exactly,
and nowhere else.
Exactly, I know.
Wow, I should go to Portugal and do that song. Crazy. I don't know how that happened. I wrote that with Errol Brown, the lyrics.
Okay. We know that you will begin a tour in May. Well, we hope that you can begin the tour in May with many concerts in Germany. Who are the musicians who will be performing with you on stage?
There are people that have been with me for quite a few years now. The only newish one is the drummer. I think he's been with me maybe 2 or 3 years. I have my horn section, Ray Beavis. They're on the album. Ray Beavis, Toby Gugglehorn, Dick Hansen, Jess Davies on keyboards, Tim Smith on guitar, and I sometimes use backing vocals. They're also on the album. Dion Moss and Louise Hartley, and me on bass.
Absolutely.
Nice big unit.
Fantastic. So, any chances to have you in France? Because I took a look at the cities you will tour, and there is no city in France.
I would love to come to France. I wish they would invite me. There was one gig in for the canceled year that didn't happen. So maybe if that guy puts that festival on again, we'll be back. Yeah, I would love to come there. Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Suzi, for all this information about the new album. We love a lot this new album. I don't know if you know, but this is the best album of this month on our media. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.